The great cedar forest of Lebanon, which is mentioned in the Bible 83 times. Was it in present-day Lebanon, or was it somewhere else? The great trees of Lebanon, the Bible states that, are the trees that God himself planted and watered. They are also the trees that King David and King Solomon cut down for lumber to build their great palaces. And also the lumber of these trees were used as timbers for the mines of King Solomon. In many passages of the Bible, it talks about the grandeur and the large size of the trees. But here's what is questionable to me, is the cedar trees of present-day Lebanon are not that big. They grow to 100 to 130 feet, not the size or grandeur that the Bible talks about. But where do we see the great trees of grandeur? Are not in present-day Lebanon, but in California, the California Redwoods. The tallest known living redwood today is a tree named Hyperborean, which stands 379 feet tall. The heaviest tree in California is a giant sequoia that is estimated to weigh 642 tons, about the weight of 107 elephants, give or take a few elephants. Both trees would dwarf any cedar tree in the Lebanon. The California Redwoods are known as the skyscraper of trees. But as large as these trees are, there is evidence of even bigger trees that once lived in the forest of California, like a giant sequoia tree named Discovery, which was reportedly cut down in 1853 and took 3 weeks to cut down. Only a giant tree stump remains of this great tree. The lumber of California redwoods are one of the best types of wood to build buildings with. Redwood lumber is one of the strongest material in nature. It does not warp or split easily. It is insect and fire resistant. Also, it decays very slowly and is very durable. It would make sense that King David and King Solomon would use its lumber to build their palaces and mines with. The redwood trees of California are not technically cedars, but I suspect their classification has been changed. But one might say California is the new world, not the old world. But is it? Let's look at the evidence. In Los Angeles, there is a big hospital named the Cedars of Lebanon. You might say that is not proof, but the deceivers a lot of time put out clues to the truth. But there is more. There are old buildings of California that do not match the history of California. One of them is the old Folsom Prison, that is a castle. Why would they build a castle for a prison? Castles are not part of the so-called history or culture of the New World. Also, castles are different from prisons in this way. Castles are made to keep people out, where prisons are made to keep people in. So it would be nonsense to build a castle as a prison. But if the castle was already there, then with some modifications, the castle could be used as a prison. The walls that were designed to keep people out could also be used to keep people in. Another old world building in California is this pavilion in San Francisco. It was one of the buildings supposedly built for the 1915 San Francisco World Fair, but was not torn down like most of the old world buildings of San Francisco World Fair were. The suspicious thing about the buildings of the World Fairs is we're told that they were made out of cheap, weak material like plaster and horsehair that was made only temporary structures. But the few structures of the fair that were not torn down, like this pavilion, are made out of very strong and heavy material that would last for centuries. But this is the building that really gives it away, and that is the old Samson tire factory of Los Angeles. And what do we see? An old Assyrian fort with guard posts, thick walls, and old drawings of ancient Syrian on the walls of the fort. We are told this Assyrian fort was built to make tires. Even the most mentally challenged person should be able to see that story makes no sense or adds up. In the Bible, Assyria is associated with the Cedars of Lebanon. In Ezekiel 31 verse 3, the Bible states, "Whom are you like in your greatness? Behold, Assyria in Lebanon, with beautiful branches and forest shade, and of towering height, top among the clouds." So there's a lot of evidence California was part of the old world, and our history is lying to us. And that indeed the forests of California are the Cedars of Lebanon that the Bible talks about 83 times. Anyway, thanks for watching my video and have a good day.